Hi guys, it's Dr. Marissa with Movement RX, and I am here today because we were talking about sleep and body composition. So let me make sure that I can see the chats here. Looks like we should be streaming on YouTube and LinkedIn. Okay, good. And we'll pull up the chat. Okay, so I should be able to see comments in the chat, but if I don't get to them during the session, then we'll be able to get to them afterward, and Dr. T will be in the chat as well, sometime after answering comments and questions. But okay, so what we're covering today is going to be 3 ways that sleep can improve your body composition. And I know this is a big topic for a lot of people. Whether it's weight loss or whether it's changing the ratio of fat to muscle in your body, generally in the direction of increasing muscle mass and losing fat mass, or maintaining muscle mass and losing fat mass. So we're going to talk about 3 ways that we can leverage sleep to be able to do that. And then also 2 places to start with your sleep. So quick little introduction to myself. My background is in neuroscience and physical therapy, and I've been in the CrossFit space for a while. And I'm kind of fascinated by what our body is doing in its downtime in order to make our waking time better. And so I'm kind of really interested in how we can leverage sleep to optimize every single system in our body. So whether that's physical health, gym performance, emotional well-being, relationship health, our sex lives, our work focus, our creativity. And really my dream here for everyone is for kind of the world to be bringing back free sleeping. And what I mean by that is where we give ourselves, or we give our bodies and we give our minds about 8.5 to 9 hours in bed. And we kind of let our body and our mind decide how much sleep we need, rather than kind of cutting ourselves off artificially early in the morning, kind of like taking out the wash before the cycle's done. Okay, so why are we talking about this at all? And I want you to reflect on your own sleep and see kind of where you are in the number of hours that you get versus the number of hours that we might need. And 70% of United States adults feel that they're getting less sleep than they need. Right? On average, we're sleeping about 6.5 hours a night when they feel they need 7. Okay. The reality is that not all of us need 7. We need between 7 and 9. And I think a lot of people are getting by on 7 without realizing that maybe they might be somebody who needs 8, or maybe there's somebody that needs 8.5, or maybe even they're supposed to be a 9-hour sleeper, but they're getting only 7, thinking, okay, I'm getting 7. I should be fine. So I'm going to kind of go over a couple of the maybe groups of people who actually probably need more than just the bare minimum of 7. These would be somebody like, we know that women generally need between 8 and 10. If you work out, if you're an athlete, if you have fitness as part of your lifestyle, then you probably need more than just 7. If you have low testosterone, you might need more. Stressful job, stressful life, you're somebody that probably needs more than just 7. And then specific to today's topic, if you're somebody that's trying to improve your body composition, right, whether we're losing fat, building muscle, or losing fat, maintaining muscle, then sleep is going to be critical for you. So let's talk about why. We're going to talk about the 3 ways that getting better or more sleep can improve your body composition. And the very first one is really easy. It comes down to appetite regulation. And weight loss is in general, right, in a very, very high level sense, it's about creating an imbalance between the amount of calories that we're taking in, the amount of calories that we're burning. And this is going to have its roots in our appetite, because when our body signals that we're hungry, we naturally want to eat. And when it signals that we're full, we're naturally ready to kind of stop eating. But what happens is that when we are underslept, right? And I'm going to use underslept to just mean we're getting less than our body wants. But when we're underslept, our appetite hormones kind of get a little bit out of whack. And so we know that our hunger hormones can bump up a little bit. So that's boosting our hunger. And we know that our satiety hormones, are the hormones that tell us when we're full, those are a little bit lower. So we're already coming in not at a biological advantage here if we haven't been sleeping well, if we're trying to lose weight. The other thing is that when we're underslept, our cravings for really calorically dense foods bump up. So think about something that you wouldn't normally eat. Maybe it's processed foods or snacks or sweets, or like the trifecta of something really sugary and salty or fatty, where normally it doesn't seem super appetizing. When you're underslept, that same food is it's gonna be a lot more appetizing. You're gonna say, "Ooh, I'm really craving that more," and that has to do with how your brain is responding to that lack of sleep, right? Bumps up our cravings, and it kind of bumps down our satisfaction with our meals. Okay, so that was reason number one. And I have a little study that I found to support that. And it's a study, I forgot where it was done at this point, but it took overweight adults who were sleeping about 6.5 hours a night, right? That's not a crazy amount to be sleeping. It's actually pretty normal. But they took overweight adults who were sleeping 6.5 hours a night, and they just bumped them up to 8.5 hours. They said, you're going to get 8.5 hours of sleep for the next 2 weeks. And all we're looking at is how much food you're taking in, and they were monitoring their weight as well. And they found that in the people that bumped their sleep up to 8.5 hours a night without changing anything at all, they were taking in about 270 less calories per day, just freely, right? They didn't tell them to eat less. They didn't tell them to exercise more, do more activity. And in fact, their activity levels were the same, but they were freely taking in about 270 less calories each day. And that led to a 2-pound weight loss over a 2-week period, just by sleeping an extra 2 hours a night. I think in reality, they were only sleeping an extra 1 hour a night, but they told them to get an extra 2 a night. Anyway, so that's a really a powerful thing, is to just essentially lose weight or have your appetite change so much that the only thing you're doing is sleeping more, and we're dropping weight, no problem. Okay. Reason number 2 that sleep can impact how can help us improve our body composition is that when we're well slept, our impulsivity is down, right? We're not as impulsive. And that can apply to a lot of different things. It can apply to our impulsivity when it comes to food, when it comes to the type of food that we're eating, our impulsivity when it comes to activity levels, where we might forego activity if we're feeling impulsive, like, I'm not going to go to the gym, I'm actually just going to go home, or I'm not going to go on this walk. I'm going to do something that's that's going to give me a more immediate reward, right? So that's number 2. So we've got appetite regulation for sleep, and then we've got impulsivity regulation when it comes to sleep. And the last one is very specific to the balance of muscle and fat in our bodies. And that's that when we're underslept, our bodies are not going to be dropping the same types of tissue as it would when we're well slept. Meaning, if you are dieting, right, when we're eating less than what our body's naturally burning, missing out on as little as 60 minutes of sleep during the work week can change what type of weight is being lost when that weight comes off. Right, so we're going to lose more lean muscle mass. We're going to lose our lean tissue, which is going to be our muscle mass, when we're not sleeping enough. Versus that proportion changes a little bit when we're sleeping really well. It's more likely that fat's going to come off versus our lean muscle mass, or versus our lean tissue or our muscle mass. Okay, and a little bit of a side note on that one. Some of that muscle is probably coming off when we're not getting enough sleep because of the ways that poor sleep is impacting our muscles' recovery and the turnover of the proteins in our muscles. So it's essentially interrupting the muscle repair process and the muscle building process. We're more likely to lose that muscle. Okay, so we've got 3 ways that sleep is impacting our body composition. And now we're going to talk about 2 places you can start, right? If you're somebody who's trying to improve your body composition and you know that your sleep is not optimized right now. So 2 places we can start. The first one is think about how much sleep opportunity you're giving yourself, and think about if there are ways that you can expand the amount of opportunity you're giving your body for sleep. So what I mean by that is if normally you give yourself 7 hours in bed and that's it, is there a way that you can give yourself 8.5 hours in bed, and then let your body and your brain decide how much sleep it needs during that amount of time, right? Expanding the sleep opportunity for your body to get its rest and its recovery in. The other place we can start when it comes to optimizing sleep is, I think, one that's going to hit really hard for a lot of people, and that's managing our caffeine consumption or managing our stimulant consumption. And this is because a lot of us, and me included, we drink caffeine in the morning and then maybe again at midday and then maybe a little bit in the afternoon to give ourselves that little afternoon pickup. But the unfortunate reality is that caffeine is a stimulant, and it's working on the brain to prevent you from getting sleepy and keep you alert and prevent you from being drowsy. And that actually stays in the bloodstream for a lot longer than a lot of us think. Caffeine can stay in your bloodstream as long as 24 hours later, right? Because the half-life is about 4 to 6 hours, which means that a quarter of it's still sitting in your system 8 to 12 hours later. A quarter of that caffeine that you took in, it's still floating around in your brain. It's still preventing you from getting sleepy, preventing you from getting really smooth, deep sleep cycles. So caffeine management, best case scenario is that you cut that down to maybe before 10 a.m. And you cut the dosage down as well from, if you're getting 400 milligrams of caffeine in a day, cutting it down to maybe 100 just to those morning hours so that your body's got time to process it out and clear it out of your brain by the time it's time to go to bed at night. Okay, so let's kind of wrap everything up, and then I'll check in the comments to see if there's any questions. But we talked about 3 ways that sleep can improve your body composition. One of them was appetite regulation. The next one was impulsivity, so tamping down impulsivity. Good sleep can do that for you. And the third one was specifically related to body composition, or what kind of weight you're losing from your body when you're slept versus when you're underslept, right? We're losing more muscle when we're underslept versus losing more fat if we're underslept, if we're well slept, sorry. Okay, so if you're interested in bringing any sort of sleep and well-being training to your organization so that you can make your well-being kind of a competitive advantage for your team, set up a call with Dr. T. You'll find her in the comments. We love bringing this type of stuff to anybody who will listen, and I just want everybody's sleep to be as optimized as it can be, so that we have a society where people are calmer and we're healthier and we're just all around better humans because we're getting more sleep. All right, I'll check in the comments. Anything? Okay, nothing in there. All right, I'll be monitoring the comments over the next I don't know, 10, 15 minutes or so and answering them. But if there's nothing for right now, guys, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. All right.